The election campaign has strayed right back where it began, on the tricky subject of industrial relations. Tony Abbott and Julia Gillard are locked in a legal argument over whether Mr Abbott can deliver the budget savings he's promised without breaking his pledge not to touch industrial laws. The Prime Minister says he can't. Mr Abbott insists he's on safe legal ground. And while all that's being debated, the opposition leader has made the biggest spending promise of the campaign so far, almost $800 million to help families with education expenses. From Canberra, Marie Scootus reports.
A look under the bonnet had the Prime Minister feeling her age.
So it's a bit different from the old days, isn't it? Yeah. You wouldn't remember the old days, you're too young.
But she can't escape other reminders of the past.
We're taking these steps in response to the increase in unauthorised people movements in our region.
We will decide who comes to this country.
Julia Gillard didn't take to the comparison to John Howard, even as another boat with 40 people on board was intercepted off Christmas Island.
I don't believe in labelling people rednecks because they're concerned about asylum seekers and boats on our horizon.
It was an early start in Sydney for Julia Gillard after last night's union love-in.
Go vote for us.
And so in this election campaign, we've got to recommit to the fight.
But the work choices hangover continues today for Tony Abbott. The two sides are duelling over Mr Abbott's plan to save taxpayers $25 million by making unions pay for industrial ballots. To do that, the government says he'd have to change the Fair Work laws and break a promise.
Section 464 of the Fair Work Act would need to be repealed in order to do what Tony Abbott is proposing to do.
The report is wrong. We have legal advice to that effect, and we move on.
A day after clearing himself $1.2 billion in savings, Mr Abbott's found a way to spend almost two-thirds of it.
I am announcing today, along with the Shadow Minister Christopher Pyne, a big increase and expansion in the education tax rebate.
He's offering up to $500 for primary students and $1,000 for secondary, for a wider range of education expenses, and the money could be claimed from next year.
This is very important because it provides more money to families that are under financial pressure.
The Prime Minister returned to education too, with a promise of a $25 million work experience scheme.
I want to make sure that the young people who live in communities like this one get the opportunity to get the skills that will get them that job.
As for the man she took her job from, Kevin Rudd makes his campaign debut in Brisbane today. Julia Gillard's prepared for it. She says she's available to help him and has confirmed Mr Rudd will come to her campaign launch.
Of course, Kevin Rudd, as an honoured former Prime Minister, will be there at the campaign launch, as will the other former Prime Ministers, and we'll work out seating arrangements for Bob and Paul as necessary.
All aboard the Gillard Express. Marie Scootus, ABC News, Canberra.